The United States Navy maintains a number of its ships as part of a reserve fleet, often called the Mothball Fleet. While the details of the maintenance activity have changed several times, the basics are constant: keep the ships afloat and sufficiently working as to be reactivated quickly in an emergency. In some cases, many ships were successfully reactivated at a considerable savings in time and money. The usual fate of ships in the reserve fleet, though, is to become too old and obsolete to be of any use, at which point they are sold for scrapping or are scuttled in weapons tests. In rare cases, the general public may intercede for ships from the reserve fleet that are about to be scrapped, usually asking for the Navy to donate them for use as museums, memorials or artificial reefs. Administration. In November 1976, the controlling organization was the Inactive Ship Division of the Naval Ship Systems Command. Since 2004, the administrative organization is called the Navy Inactive Fleet. As of 2011, the controlling organization actually appears to be the Inactive Ships Management Office of the Program Executive Officer, Ships, Naval Sea Systems Command, Portsmouth, Virginia. Merchant ships held in reserve are managed as part of the separate National Defense Reserve Fleet within MARAD. Several of its sites, such as at Suisun Bay in California, are also used to store regular Navy ships. Maintenance categories. Ships placed in the reserve fleets are categorized depending on priority, funding and the planned disposition. Category B ships in this category are prioritized over the other categories when it comes to maintenance and funding. They are retained for possible future mobilization and will receive updates and upgrades as funding permits. Category C. These are ships that will be maintained as is, meaning no updates or improvements unless funding is left after Category B ships are done. Category D. Temporary state pending planned usage by the Navy, will be maintained as is. Category X. Ships stricken from the Naval Vessel Register awaiting disposal. Receives no maintenance except ships on donation hold which undergoes dehumidification and cathodic protection. Category Z. This category is for nuclear-powered ships and related support ships pending disposal. History. Around 1912, the Atlantic Reserve Fleet and the Pacific Reserve Fleet were established as reserve units, still operating ships, but on a greatly reduced schedule. After the Second World War, with hundreds of ships no longer needed by a peacetime navy, each fleet consisted of a number of groups corresponding to storage sites, each adjacent to a shipyard for easier reactivation. For example, USS Brock was underway for Green Cove Springs, Florida, on April 11, 1945. Brock arrived there on April 13, 1945, and joined the Florida Group, 16th Fleet, which later became the Florida Group, Atlantic Reserve Fleet. Many of the deactivated Second World War merchant vessels were of a class called the Liberty ship, which was a mass-produced ocean-going transport which was used primarily in the convoys going to from the US, Europe and Russia. These Liberty ships were also used as the Navy's support vessel for its fleet of warships and to ferry forces across the Pacific and Atlantic. It was a race between how fast the US could build these ships and how fast the German U-boats could sink them, and the Liberty ship was significant in maintaining the beleaguered United Kingdom. Most of these Liberty ships when deactivated were put into mothball fleets strategically located around the coasts of the US. They began to be deactivated and scrapped in the early 1970s. Atlantic Reserve Fleet. The groups of the Atlantic Reserve Fleet were at Boston, Charleston, Green Cove Springs, Florida, New London, Mothball New York Harbor, Norfolk, Philadelphia, and Texas. Pacific Reserve Fleet. The groups of the Pacific Reserve Fleet were at Alameda, Bremerton, Columbia River, Long Beach, Mare Island, San Diego, San Francisco, Stockton, and Tacoma. List of current USN Reserve Fleets. James River Reserve Fleet. The James River Reserve Fleet consists of 6 decommissioned U.S. Navy auxiliaries and warships anchored in Virginia's James River near Newport News. The fleet originally consisted of about 60 ships, most of which were gradually towed away for scrapping. As of July 1, 2014, the reserve fleet consisted of the following vessels: SS Cape Ann, training use, SS Cape Avanoff, training use, SS Cape Jubai, logistics support, SS Cape Nome, logistics support, USNS Harkness, logistics support, MV Freedom Star, training use. Swissunbay equals. A similar fleet, the National Defense Reserve Fleet, is anchored in Swissunbay near Benicia, California, and has similarly been reduced. This location is known for hosting the Glomar Explorer after its recovery of portions of a Soviet submarine during the Cold War before its subsequent reactivation as a minerals exploration ship. Beaumont equals. The Beaumont Reserve Fleet, anchored in the Neches River near Beaumont, Texas, contains a number of transport ships, plus a dozen minesweepers. Former fleets equals. Atlantic Reserve Fleet, Boston, Atlantic Reserve Fleet, Green Cove Springs, Atlantic Reserve Fleet, Hudson River, Atlantic Reserve Fleet, New London, Atlantic Reserve Fleet, Orange, Atlantic Reserve Fleet, Wilmington, Pacific Reserve Fleet, Astoria, Pacific Reserve Fleet, Stockton, Pacific Reserve Fleet, Hunters Point. Naval Inactive Ship Maintenance Facilities. A Naval Inactive Ship Maintenance Facility is a facility owned by the U.S. Navy as a holding facility for decommissioned naval vessels, pending determination of their final fate. All ships in these facilities are inactive, but some are still on the Naval Vessel Register, while others have been struck from that register. Philadelphia equals. The Naval Inactive Ship Maintenance Facility holds several dozen inactive warships, including the aircraft carrier USS John F. Kennedy, Ticonderoga-class cruisers, Oliver Hazard Perry-class frigates, and numerous supply ships. Bremerton equals. The Naval Inactive Ship Maintenance Facility at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, located next to Bremerton, Washington, hosts, among its other ships, 3 aircraft carriers, USS Ranger, Independence, and Kitty Hawk. 24 decommissioned submarines, several frigates, and numerous supply ships. It is the former home of the nuclear cruiser USS Long Beach, which was scrapped. Pearl Harbor equals. The Naval Inactive Ship Maintenance Facility at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, holds logistics support ships and amphibious transport dock ships. See also, 309th Aerospace Maintenance and Regeneration Group, a U.S. Air Force equivalent. References. External links, records of the Reserve Fleet, satellite photo of the Swissunbay Reserve Fleet, adventures in the abandoned ships of Swissunbay, satellite photo of the Neches River Reserve Fleet, satellite photo of the James River Reserve Fleet, satellite photo of the Puget Sound Reserve Fleet.